All right, we're on live now. So, hello everyone. First of all, thank you very much for attending this 2022 Binance Smart Chain ChainIDE Developer Bootcamp. My name is Bo from ChainIDE, and I will be the moderator today. A few housekeeping rules before we get to started on our event today. The first, if you have a question, please type in the QA chat box in your YouTube live, and we'll select one or two questions if we have extra time between each session. And second is please no spamming. If you're spam, it will be marked and moved from the event immediately. Okay, so I will do a brief introduction on this event, and then we will have our opening address for our bootcamp before the module 1 started. We all know that the GameFi industry started to boom rapidly this year, and Binance Smart Chain has become one of the most popular blockchains for blockchain gaming, primarily thanks to its cheap and fast transactions and thriving community. So here we are. The bootcamp is organized around GameFi, NFT, metaverse, and blockchain games. The bootcamp intends to provide developers with design and hands-on experience of blockchain games, as well as knowledge about NFT and GameFi. To speak more precisely, this event will not only provide the introduction level courses, but aim to escort developers while gathering for them the resources from ecosystem and life cycle of the blockchain games. The courses of the bootcamp are designed on theory through practice and taught by instructors from senior blockchain experts and top university professors with practical expertise. Devoted teams will get the reward of exploring a blockchain game in its full life cycle. Oh, by the way, we'll have the team roster in the Telegram group soon, so don't forget to find your teammates as soon as possible. All right, it is my greatest honor to announce that the 2022 Binance Smart Chain and ChainIDE Developer Bootcamp has officially started. Our first guest speech to the opening address is Mr. Xiao Wu, and he is the CEO of the White Matrix and founder of the Chain IDE. Mr. Wu, you may start whenever you're ready.
All right, thanks, Bo. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Binance Smart Chain and ChainIDE Developer Bootcamp. My name is Wu Xiao, but you can also call me Ling, which is my developer name. I'm the CEO of Body Matrix and founder of the ChainIDE. First of all, thank you very much for joining us. The Developer Bootcamp is proud to be one of the leading events created specifically for blockchain and Web3 developers. We have held developer activities in more than 40 countries in Africa, Indonesia, Vietnam, Russia, China, Canada, America, and many other countries. We felt proud of the global developer ecosystem we have built. We offered free 8-week comprehensive course called Masterclass with Binance to African developers, thus establishing a connection with the local developers and communities in the continent. The Binance Masterclass course has a view of more than 100,000 on YouTube, and that helped more than 1,000 African blockchain developers, thus incubating more than 50 blockchain projects. We also co-host Rebase Hackathon, which gets grants and support from the Ethereum Foundation, and more than 100 blockchain projects joining the events. There are a lot I can list. We are excited to see so many great projects grow up in these events. We have discovered that the blockchain industry has limited possibilities for expansion via pure blockchain technology from our community of developers. However, it is these groups of developers who have explored ultimate possibilities of the blockchain technology. From 2017 to today, I've seen plenty of talented developers pull off amazing feats. We can imagine that such developers are the drivers of the blockchain world, and it is the same developers who will be the pathfinders of the whole blockchain technology. As I said, I really appreciate that the developers from different countries can connect through this event. We strive to support the blockchain ecosystem and grow up together with these communities. In the Developer Bootcamp, we invite guests from both academic and industry areas. We hope to provide an insightful program over the next 3 weeks. I hope you all enjoy this event. Thank you.
Thank you for the speak, Ms. Wu. Next honored guest is Mr. Li Zhu, and he is the coordinator from BSC ecosystem. Mr. Zhu, you may start whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Bo. So, hi everyone, this is Lee Tu or LZ from BSC. So, huge thanks for ChainIDE for inviting me to this opening, where I will be able to share some insights into BSC and what we do at BSC. So, maybe I should start with a short introduction on BSC. BSC is, BSC is an Ethereum virtual machine or EVM compatible blockchain built to support smart contracts. Its design is based on Ethereum's Geth client, with the main difference being that BSC offers a higher gas block limit and a faster block time. So in non-tech talks, this means that BSC processes transactions cheaper, faster, and it also allows projects from Ethereum ecosystem to function natively within BSC. So this relates back to the point where Bo, the moderator, mentioned about GameFi being prominent on BSC. This is due to this technology. So some highlights that often go unnoticed. BSC is actually the largest decentralized blockchain by daily active users and transaction volume. So we are doing about 1 million in daily active users and about 5 million transactions daily. So we ended last year at 2.14 billion transactions cumulatively, and right now we have over 1,200 projects on our ecosystem. So this event, we are honored to be co-hosting this alongside ChainIDE. And what we really aim to see out of this program is two things. Number one, new innovations being born. So DeFi, MetaFi, even cryptocurrencies. I personally think that it's still in an infancy stage, and we need to see creative applications that solve prominent issues that is barring the non-users from entering. Secondly, fostering a community spirit. The nature of blockchain is openness, transparency, and inclusivity. The space that we are in is an interesting one, with groundbreaking applications developed every so often. The seminars that you'll encounter in this event, plus the interactions with the community and the developers, will give you the effect of 1 plus 1 is greater than 2. So I also have to add here that the BSC mission is to bring the next 1 billion user to crypto, and it will have to be done through education and then encouraging mass adoption. Not only that, there's a wide variety of support that BSC is able to provide to promising projects. Check the BSC official Twitter account at Binance Chain for relevant updates. Considering the limited amount of time I have, I will jump right into sharing some information about BSC's MVB program. So the most valuable builder program is a flagship accelerator program for BSC projects. In this program, you can expect masterclasses from domain experts, fireside chats with big name VCs, and the best thing of all, top performers in this program will receive investment offers from BSC 1 billion growth fund. We have a star-studded lineup of industry leaders on the committee, and the participants of this program will gain access to a lot of knowledge to build, scale, and grow their startup. So in this round of MBB4, we are focusing on quite a couple of key categories. So one of them is Web3 infrastructure, and we are going after advanced DeFi Lego and also MetaFi tooling. So yeah, I've shared a lot about MVB, but here's a question. What does this actually translate into? So in the past 3 MVB seasons that we held, we've worked closely with Binance to fast-track listings for the most promising projects, including but not limited to TrendChess, Mobox, BinaryX. Not only that, projects has received funding, either from Binance Labs or BSC funds, and some even benefited from the BSC $100 million liquidity incentive fund. So considering MVB4 is live, what are you waiting for? So we will be supporting this event quite heavily, and we will be noticing the projects in this event as well. So we look forward to hosting a wide variety of innovative projects to build this ecosystem together. So I will hand it back to Boyang. Thank you so much.
Thank you for speak, Ms. Zhu, and we will move to the Module 1 for our Bootcamp course. The Module 1 is about the crypto arts and NFTs. The module will help you understand the development of potential NFT in different fields, such as fashion, gaming, social networking, etc., and break the inherent thinking and broaden the creative ideas of the project. The first topic is about fashion NFTs and what's next from Professor Beckman. He is the CEO of DMA United, and he is also the professor at New York University Stern MBA Marketing. Professor Mark, you may start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for having me this evening. It's really an honor. I appreciate it, both Binance and ChainIDE. Today, I am going to speak with you a little about the world of NFTs as it relates to fashion lifestyle, with an emphasis on fashion. But before I start, I want to tell you a little bit about who I am and what we do. So, as mentioned, I am the CEO of DMA United, and for more than 2 decades, we've been building a premier branding and advertising agency that specializes with some of the most luxurious and aspirational brands on the planet, from Karl Lagerfeld and Tom Ford to Carhartt. We work with Sony Music, Warner Brothers Entertainment, Pepsi. We even work with Nelson Mandela's family. And effectively, what we do is we build strategy and execute with our partners across various communication platforms. And what this has done over the past 2.5 years for our agency is brought us quickly to the forefront of Web3, specifically as it relates to fashion. So some of our recent programs that everyone might be interested in, if you like fashion or that you might have seen, we've partnered Gucci with Azed Jean-Pierre. We've partnered Kith with the House of Mandela, Karl Lagerfeld and Puma. We put MAC Cosmetics into a program with Puma. And recently, if you saw the film with Space Jam 2 and LeBron James, we put together a global program with Amongst Few. We've done a lot with the NBA. We've built their entire fashion vertical with programs surrounding the Kooples, Zadig and Voltaire, Jeremy Scott, and other brands. And of course, we get very involved around sports, but at the intersection of fashion, style, and design. So we put together a global program surrounding the World Cup with Pepsi and Bang & Olufsen. So because of our connection to fashion, we've been building a lot of different strategies now in the fashion lifestyle space. And some of the programs we put together are with media entities like Condé Nast, with fashion brands like Carhartt, with premier modeling agencies like IMG, NARS Cosmetics, and we're getting ready to launch a really interesting program with the Glen Rothes, a $3,600 limited edition whiskey. We also do a lot in the charity space. So we've created programs with NFTs for Parlay of the Oceans to benefit Save the Chimps around Earth Day and the Trevor Project. So some examples of the programs we've activated on a global scale. With NARS Cosmetics, this was an incredible program. We brought in 3 artists from all over the planet to activate. Nina Kravitz is a DJ from Russia, and she was the first one to activate. We brought Sarah Shaquille in from London, and we brought Azed Jean-Pierre in from right here in New York City. And the program launched. The NFT program was pretty interesting in that it included both a limited edition tiered pricing strategy that also unlocked access for the consumers to physical merchandise that they couldn't buy anyplace else. We did a great streetwear program with Imran Potato. If you look here, we kind of mocked NBA Top Shot, or Imran did at least. We also used the technology to airdrop certain partners and consumers that were participating, not just with the Louis Vuitton Teletubby, but also if you look down the vert, we called it Gerbil Lablo. So we used airdrop technology to surprise and delight the consumers that participated in the program. And this is an example of a program we put together that was pro-social with IMG models surrounding Pride. We brought about 12 different great models in and built out a program that featured all of the different models' individual artwork in the form of an NFT. For Parley of the Oceans, we partnered with a brand in the Ukraine and launched a program that tied together film assets that people could purchase as an NFT and then built that into a charitable overlay. I put an interesting quotation here for everybody to think about. I don't know if you've heard of Kathy Hackle. She's a tech futurist here. And she said something that I thought was really interesting, really with an emphasis of where my agency is moving right now, where we're going from digital artwork and NFTs deeper into the metaverse. And I think we'll see that play now for the fashion industry in a very significant way. So Kathy said, a further convergence of our physical and digital lives. And in some ways, it's about the internet breaking free from the rectangles in our hands, desks, and walls, and being all around us. I really love that. Statistically, we're seeing a lot of growth just by the numbers as it relates to the category, the NFTs in particular. So over the past 12 months, the NFT market has soared with a quarterly transaction value increasing from less than 28 million to over 10 billion by the third quarter of last year. And it's been pretty amazing. If you think about it, it's incredible that CryptoKitties just first appeared in 2017. And if you look where assets like that, just pure digital creative assets have gone and grown, leading into CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club, it's pretty incredible, actually. And our agency is actually now representing a lot of the artists and art owners to set up licensing deals for them with, for example, their apes into fashion deals, into spirits deals, into real estate deals, and beyond. So the idea of leveraging digital assets and bringing them into the physical world seems to be growing in our world too. Morgan Stanley estimates that the metaverse could constitute 10% of the luxury goods addressable market by 2030, so in less than 10 years, representing a total of more than 50 billion euro in opportunity. So that's why we as an agency are very bullish on all things Web3 right now. We believe that we're at the starting gate. We haven't started yet. There's a lot of buzz, certainly, about the metaverse, but people and companies haven't really embraced it in the way that we predict they will. And if Morgan Stanley, in my opinion, is predicting that this is a 50 billion euro opportunity in the luxury sector, it's probably a lot more. So people that are interested in fashion, luxury, and contemporary brands, I think should take these statistics very seriously. Especially because it seems like we're moving as a culture, as a society, deeper and deeper into the virtual world, more so than in real life. And I think these statistics are really interesting. Today in the developed world, people spend more time interacting with their friends on social media and in gaming platforms than in real life. Pre-COVID in the United States, adults typically spent 6.5 hours online. 2 of those hours were spent interacting with their friends or their family. And it's incredible. It actually is about double the amount of time that these individuals were spending with friends in the physical world. So it's fair to assume that if those were the numbers before the pandemic started, now that ratio must be far greater as it relates to digital, thus presenting a really big opportunity to build out meaningful platforms as it relates to fashion lifestyle categories in Web3. So this is really interesting. I'm not sure if you've heard of Ian Rogers, but he comes from LVMH, which is arguably the most important luxury conglomerate on the planet today. Today, he's the chief experience officer of Ledger. And he said, just because it's digital doesn't mean it means any less to us. You don't buy a luxury handbag because of its incredible utility. You buy it because the brand has built culture. It's a tribe that you want to belong to. The value is not because it's made of something solid. Its value is its place in culture and its rareness. And I think that's what blockchain represents in several ways. Obviously, we can create rarity and covetability once an NFT is minted on a blockchain. We could limit the edition and make it more compelling and covetable for the consumers. But something that everyone should start thinking about is how these brands come to life once they enter the metaverse. What is the brand experience like digitally? It could be, and in fact, in my opinion, it should be very different than that of how the brand interacts in the physical world. So currently we're seeing a bunch of different use cases with NFTs in the luxury goods market. We're seeing digital art sales, charitable initiatives, the ability to be clever, rare though still, and unlock redeemable merchandise, unlock experiences, and then loyalty rewards programs. What I wanted to do today was really get into where we see some of these programs growing. But before I do that, I want to show you specific examples of other brands that have built out programs beyond my agency. So the first one, which I'm really excited about because we work quite a bit with Dolce & Gabbana, is their inaugural NFT program, which I believe consisted of less than 10 NFTs total and reached almost $6 million in sales. And these are the actual images of the NFTs. It was extraordinarily successful, so much to the point where now Dolce & Gabbana has built an internal team that is focused specifically on NFTs. I'm sure everybody sees, I think right now, Gucci and Superplastic is activated, or at least it was done this week. Amazing program for Super Gucci. The two brands came together and created Super Gucci. Essentially what they did was they brought the toy brand, which is extraordinarily popular, into the NFT space and created not just limited edition NFTs, but also physical items, sculptures that accompany the NFTs. And then, of course, for everybody that's a fashion and toy fan, everybody knows of the Balmain and Barbie NFT program that recently exploded with popularity. So what they did here was created 3 one-of-a-kind NFTs as well as the physical merchandise collection. Interestingly, in my opinion, I actually think the digital NFTs were a lot more compelling than the physical merchandise. And then following the highly publicized lawsuit surrounding intellectual property between StockX and Nike, as everybody is probably aware, purchased Artifact Studios. Artifact was only in business for like 2.5 years, which is incredible. And because StockX put digital Nike NFTs into the marketplace, Nike worked quickly with Artifact to launch its Monolith program, which is its first official NFT program. So where are we going to go now? Where does the industry go beyond just simple digital artwork? I think something that everybody here should be thinking about and considering is the concept of a loyalty program. Worldwide, it's well established that in fashion and luxury, loyalty programs don't work. However, if you look at the numbers, when they do work, it's explosive. So studies show that a brand's existing customer are 9 times more likely to buy from them compared to a new customer. And on average, existing customers spend 31% more than new ones. So if a brand could lock in a consumer vis-a-vis a compelling loyalty program within the metaverse or on Web3, it could be compelling. And again, right now, there is no good loyalty program or successful and sustainable loyalty program that we've seen in Web3. So we considered different ways that a loyalty program could be activated, different levers of activation from a brand's perspective, and how creatives, developers, and people thinking about the space could go at this program. And if you consider a very narrow vertical, it's pretty compelling because you can create digital artwork, which of course could be of value on the primary and secondary marketplaces. You could create collaborations, which we all love, we've grown to love. And as a member of the loyalty program, you can have access to that limited edition merchandise. You can also gain access as a member of the loyalty program, first access to new collection launches, and then of course access to physical world shows and exclusive services such as meeting creative directors and having fittings with her or him. The other idea, though, that's an interesting, the last point is an interesting point of inception, because here I'm highlighting, if you see, NFTs to purchase. But what's not happening often is rewarding people with NFTs after they do something that the brand or the company encourages. So for example, we can use NFTs to shape consumers' behavior, great spending habits, bringing people into the physical store, as well as activating pro-social initiatives. And even more compelling is the concept of the direct communication, the direct channel between the brand and the fan for marketing purposes. It's a whole new way of capturing data and communicating directly with the consumer. And it's pretty powerful, especially for emerging brands and young brands that don't have the ability to have a robust CRM program. So Matthew Ball, who is the managing partner of a venture fund that invested early in companies like Dapper Labs. I'm sure everybody is familiar with Dapper Labs, the primary company behind NBA Top Shot, said, "One could argue that Fortnite is already one of the largest apparel companies in the world. They have between $3 to $5.5 billion a year in revenue, predominantly from the sale of virtual outfits. That number exceeds Prada, Fenty, and Dolce & Gabbana." It's really compelling. So if you think again about how the digital world within Web3 can bring fashion to life and capitalize on it, it's pretty powerful. There's also, I think, a great opportunity in the concept of fashion gaming for luxury brands and contemporary brands. They haven't really gone there yet in a major way, and it's a good opportunity. So Web3 and metaverse gaming applications provide ideal digital platforms for fashion brands looking to engage their consumers with innovative technology, to reach an excited group of Gen Z and Generation Alpha, and then also to build dedicated experiences. And the fact that we can build into these gaming platforms NFTs that could be monetized is fantastic. So in my opinion, brands should be thinking about going beyond advertising into these virtual worlds to create experiences that could be monetized. And we've seen this, I'm sure everybody saw the super compelling program that was put together between Fortnite and Balenciaga as it relates to digital designer clothing and accessories. And that's it.
Thank you for the fantastic lecturing, Professor Mack. We have one question for you here. The question is, if a platform or company wanted to display an NFT image for public viewing, would the platform or the company need the permission of the copyright holder, the owner of the NFT, or both? And will there any legal issues between the copywriter and the owner if there is a conflict between them?
That's a very good question. And it's interesting to see how brands and companies are sorting through that now. These legal issues are just popping up now. So for example, everyone might be familiar with the very, very successful program that an artist put together using an Hermes Birkin bag. And it was interesting because the Birkin bag had a baby in it that grew over time and was purchased as an NFT, I think north of $10 million, actually. What's happening now is we're starting to, at least here in the United States, find the legal system being at play to answer these questions and these issues. As far as this question goes, Bo, the idea of displaying an NFT is probably going to align very similarly to the way that an individual or a celebrity's intellectual property or a brand's intellectual property is displayed. If it's being used for editorial purposes, it's probably fine and legal. If it's being used for monetary purposes or commercial purposes, then it's not going to be okay. So there will be a line that will I think, predictably, eventually end up with the guidelines that I'm describing.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your elaboration. And also we have prepared books, the comprehensive guide NFTs and digital works, blockchain technology from Professor Beckman for today's lucky attendees. And there will be a link posted in the YouTube chat box. So make sure you fill in and get the great books for free. So let's move on to the next speaker, the Daniel. And he is the co-author of the NFT Launch Handbox. From idea to launch, Daniel, you may start whenever you're ready.
Released, but I can tell you it's one of the most exciting things to have something that you... Hello everyone, and thank you for listening and tuning in. My name is Daniel, also known as Frankincense in the Discord, and I've actually joined the Matrix World team recently to help out with the community, the content creation, writing blogs and things like that, which is very exciting. So thank you for having me, and I can't wait to talk about a really interesting topic today. Now that topic is talking about launching your own NFT project. Now, fortunately, I've had quite a bit of experience previously with launching NFT projects. I've actually been the co-author of an NFT launch book. I've helped launch projects on Cardano and Solana, and more recently, I'm actually working on my own project with some mates on Ethereum. Now, that's actually a really important point to make. When you're launching your product, where is the market? Where are the most amount of buyers of your product? And at the moment, we can look on DappRadar and some other analytics websites, and majority of people are buying on Ethereum, with the top 4 marketplaces being Ethereum. So the other interesting thing is NBA Top Shots and on Flow is actually in 5th place on DappRadar as well, which is great to see Flow is up there. So today, to give you a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about, there's 4 main topics we're going to dig into. I'm going to tell you right now, they are foundations. So market research, having a meaningful cause. What are you building this project on? What is the story behind your project? The second thing we go into is your building phase. So that's everything from building your team to building your artwork. The third phase we look at is preparing. So preparing your community, preparing your marketing methods, preparing everything that kind of goes out to your wider audience. And lastly, the most important, or the most exciting part, I should say, is launching your project. So we go through the reveal process, we go through engagement post-launch. How do you keep that community engaged and active as well? And it actually is very challenging with so many projects being released. But I can tell you it's one of the most exciting things to have something that you own and something that you're releasing to the greater public. So please don't let that scare you away. There is a lot of projects out there right now, but if you are passionate, you need to go and give it a go. Now, most of the things that you're seeing, reading, or hearing today are actually from a book that I co-authored, and it's called The NFT Launch Handbook From Idea to Launch, and that's on Amazon, so feel free to have a look at that if you do want to. Now, really quickly, I just wanted to mention, you might be thinking to yourself, but Daniel, there's thousands of NFT projects. There's so many out there. There's so many people that are releasing their projects. Why should I release one? Now, I think if you're really passionate and you're an artist and someone that's got a creative idea, that's a big enough reason in itself. But the other thing that I want to mention right now is that still a lot of people don't own NFTs. If we look at the total circulation of cryptocurrency wallets, there's only a small amount that actually own NFTs. Yeah, so there's still a big market yet to be buying into NFTs. And we've seen the mass adoption from large mainstream companies that are actually coming into NFTs as well. So I don't think it's going anywhere, and I think you should think that it's not going anywhere as well. All right, as I mentioned earlier, phase 1 is your foundation phase. Now, it is the most important phase of releasing any project. You go over, do you have a viable product? You look at who your target audience is. We also look at if you're trying to enter a market that there's already thousands of similar items like that. But the first thing I wanted to talk about whenever you look at releasing something, and this is to any product in the world in life, you look at to see if you're entering a saturated market. And what I mean by a saturated market is, are there already thousands like that out there? And there's 4 different parts of a product life cycle, and they are introduction, so that's where it's just starting off. There's a growth phase, a maturity phase, and a decline phase. Now, the first one is your introduction phase. So that's when there's not many similar projects like yours out there. And we're going to ask you a few questions in a moment to figure out if yours is in that first phase. The growth phase, that's when there's a few different ones out there. There might already be a couple of projects launching, and that's a really great time to launch your project if there's similar products to yours out there, because you have something to compare. You understand how the market reacts to a certain topic or a certain idea. Then you have your maturity phase, and that's where saturation hits. Now, I'm going to give you an example of saturation. This is a real world example. Chances are right now, you and I both have an oven. You're probably not looking to buy another oven. That's a saturated market. There is no point in releasing more ovens because lots of people already have ovens. But, and I'll give you an example in NFTs, it's like releasing an ape NFT right now. There is thousands, there is hundreds of ape NFTs. So if your project is going to be an ape NFT, I strongly suggest you think differently and do something different. And the decline phase, that's when there's thousands and thousands and people aren't interested in apes anymore, and it's going down in that last phase. So before you can determine what phase your product is in, you need to put your project into kind of buckets or categories per se. So if I was to release let's think about a cat NFT that waves to you and it's going to be on a Solana blockchain, my category would be animated animal Solana. And from there, I can determine what phase I'm in. Am I in the growth phase? Is there other similar projects to my idea? Am I in the maturity, or am I in the decline phase? All right, it's time to dig into a few places that you need to go searching to see if there's other similar projects to yours out there already. And of course, we're going to start with Twitter. We're going to look at what is the similar projects on Twitter, look on Instagram, go on Google, just do a general search to see if there's anything similar out there. And lastly, you do want to look on trends.google.com to see what other people are searching for and see if there's people that have actually released something similar, or you're the first one to come up with a great idea. Now, typically you might find a few similar projects, and that is completely fine. That's when you say you're still in that growth phase. But you've seen another similar project and you go, Daniel, I don't know if I'm going to survive. Well, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to see if I can help you figure out how you're going to be better. And first of all, we need to start by figuring out who your audience is. So the questions I'll ask is, who is your target audience? What problem am I solving? The typical age is, they care about, they spend money on, their professions are, their personalities are. And these are all great questions to figure out who is your target avatar. Now, your target avatar is the one that's going to be spending money. And I suppose you don't want to create a product that's going to appeal to people that can't actually afford your price range or where you want to set your price. Now, once you figure out those details and who your avatar is, and you've seen a couple of similar projects, and that's completely fine, but you need to confirm how your product is better. So make sure you list a few different ways, get the pen and paper out, and write down 5 different ways that your project is better if you see anything. And this is when it starts to get really interesting. Now, I talk about a meaningful cause. Now, a lot of people see a meaningful cause come along with projects these days, and it might be something like a charity donation. It might be education, it might be information or access to something. So when we speak about a meaningful cause, it actually speaks to the emotional part of the brain and gives someone another reason to look at buying your project. So when we think about my cat NFTs, it might be that every 1,000 NFTs sold, I actually adopt a cat and I make another cat live with me. I'm going to have thousands of cats, I can tell you that. So at this point in time, you've decided what your NFT is going to be. You now know who your audience is, who you're appealing to. You've confirmed there's not thousands of other similar projects out there like yours, and you're not entering a saturated market. The next part of your project, or what you need to do next, is actually come up with a bit of an identity. So things that we want to talk about is coming up with a super catchy name, something that people are going to remember in weeks' time. You need to go across to Twitter, Instagram, TikTok if you want, and obtain all the handles that you need. You want to make sure you've got a logo and that you put it across all your websites and across all of your social media as well to create a consistent image. So when people go looking for you, They see it looks the same all across every single avenue. Now, I hope on your website you have a nice looking landing page, and you need to talk about your project in a way that talks to that meaningful cause that we mentioned earlier. Why does someone actually want to buy your project? Is it because you have a great emotional connection to something? Is it because you provide education? Is it because you provide early access or access to projects that are yet to be released? You can decide what your website has at the start, but it needs to be that piece that catches their attention straight away. There's a couple of other key items that you do want to consider having on your website, but at this point in time in your journey, they're probably not necessary. But just for listing them, let's talk about them right now. So you're going to make sure you have a roadmap, a clear, concise roadmap, which we talk about a little bit later on, about what you're going to be providing for your audience in the future. Next thing you want to have is looking at who your team is. Now, I don't mind if you're doxed or not. That is totally up to you. And when I say doxed, I mean revealed, so people know who you are publicly. But what I want you to do is have a description about who is helping you out. So whether you have a developer, whether you have a marketing specialist, whether you have an analytics guy on your team, that's completely fine. But make sure you do have something about the people that are supporting your project. Now we're going to look into your NFT details, and you notice how we haven't even talked about what the NFT or where we're going to launch or anything like that just yet, because the most important part is that product and making sure you are releasing something that everyone's going to want to buy. So what we're going to look at now is the blockchain. So what blockchain do you choose to release? And that might be a personal choice. It might be that you prefer Flow because it's cheap, it's fast, it's accessible. It might be that you like Ethereum because there's a lot of people that are buying items on Ethereum. Now, this video isn't going to be a comparison or tell you what blockchain to mint on. You can do those comparisons yourself. But the big thing I want you to think about is, where is the market? So where are the buyers? And there's a lot of buyers on Ethereum, with OpenSea being the largest marketplace. And what resources are available to you? I know on Ethereum, there's lots of great Discords that are there to help people that are creating their own project, even down to making their own development and minting their own project. One off the top of my head is Hashlips. A guy called Daniel actually runs that Discord, and he makes videos on YouTube about how to mint your own project, how to create your own random artwork, and I strongly recommend going to check out his stuff. The other one that I've seen is Third Web, and they actually create it so it's an upload service to their website, and from there you just add a little bit of HTML script to your web page and it adds the mint button straight away. No programming, nothing for you to worry about. They're just a couple of resources. Something to consider now is your supply and rarity model. How many NFTs do you plan to release, and how do you plan on making them rare? Will there be certain backgrounds or certain traits that are limited? Will there be red laser eyes that are appealing to the masses? Next thing we're looking at is your pricing models. And there's multiple different ways that you can release an NFT for pricing. You could do a Dutch style where the price goes down from a certain range and people buy to that price. You could do a fixed price with a fair launch. So it means everyone has the same opportunity and same chance to purchase your NFT. And one of the most popular things at the moment is a pre-sale or a whitelist, meaning you get early access or you get access and secure your spots. Now that's become quite popular recently as it's being used as a sales method to draw attraction and scarcity into your project. Let's talk about one of the most important things of releasing your project. And I think it is important because it shows what you're prepared to do or what you're going to do, and that's your roadmap. It's really interesting to see all the different types of roadmaps that are out there. And a lot of time your roadmap, to simplify things, is what you plan on doing based on a time frame or the amount of NFTs you sell. And there's things that people include. It might be that, if 10% they release merchandise, so you can get this limited edition hat or this limited edition hoodie. Or it might be that it's a charity donation. It might be that it's a giveaway on your network. But the thing that I want you to really consider is, a lot of the times these people are buying your project to potentially as an investment opportunity. So sometimes getting merchandise isn't that appealing to them. So just make sure you have items that will increase the value of the actual project itself, whether that be investing in future development. It might be a play-to-earn game. It might be that you're releasing a comic book, and because your audience loves comic books, there's things that you've got to think about. What is appealing to that avatar that we spoke about earlier? Okay, so we've briefly gone over foundations, and there are so many little things that we could be digging into segment by segment, but we do have a limited amount of time. So next we're going to jump onto building phase. Now this is the phase that you kind of build your team, build up your NFTs, prepare your artwork, and go on from there. But this is a really important phase, and I'll say that it is really hard to launch an NFT project by yourself. If we're to consider a few of the different roles that need to be taken when you're launching an NFT project, we consider the art, so an artist, social media managers, people that look after your Instagram, Twitter, Discord, a marketing manager, so someone that partners with a social media manager to work on promotions, work on creating this excitement behind your project. You might need a website dev, and then you might need someone that's able to handle the technical side of minting an NFT project. There's quite a few different things, and you might be going, but Daniel, I don't have all the people to help me out, and that's completely fine. A lot of times you'll have friends that want to work with you, as same as I did for my projects and what I was releasing. I had friends that were happy to help me out, but some of them might not have the technical knowledge, or some of them might not have been great at managing a social media account. So there are different ways that you can get help for your project. And it might be that in Discords, there might be sections of Discords that go looking for jobs or searching for help on projects. But there's also websites that you can go to, and whether you pay to have someone freelance for your project and help out with the Discord, it might be that you have a developer, or it might even be that you have an artist because you've got this amazing idea, but you need help with an artist. There's lots of different resources online to be able to find someone to help out in your team. Because I can guarantee one person is not going to release a successful launch. It needs to be a few different people. The amazing thing about NFTs these days is that when you're creating your artwork, you don't have many limitations. I know OpenSea has its own file upload limit of 100 megabytes. So if you're uploading directly to OpenSea and minting it from OpenSea, you can only be 100 megabytes, and it has to be certain file types as well. But the best thing to do if you are creating your NFT or creating artwork, make sure you partner with your developer to figure out what size and what limitations your artwork can have. But that's a great thing about NFTs. It's usually just limited based on the website that it's being uploaded to or the server that it's being uploaded to. So the build phase wasn't a really lengthy one. And I suppose the most important things about this is understanding that you need to build your team. You need to make sure you have a team that can carry you and make sure we can support each other to create an amazing product and build up an amazing community. Which leads us on to prepare. So by now, hopefully you know a bit about your project. You know who your target audience is. You've got samples of your artwork so you can show that off and create a bit of excitement. You know how many you're releasing. You know the price of what you're releasing. And this is a great time to jump on Twitter and start engaging with people or projects that are very similar to yours. I encourage you to work alongside other projects, not against other projects, because community is going to be the biggest thing for releasing any project. We've seen what community can do for projects, and when a community reignites and creates these Twitter storms that will take over and make people jealous that they don't have one of their NFTs. So you need to create a community, because the best thing when you have an amazing community is that they'll support you through anything. They'll support you through the FUD that people might be releasing. So let's talk over some tips to create some amazing community engagement. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have a welcoming environment. Whenever someone comments on a Twitter post, you reply back, and you reply back with the excitement that someone's engaging with you. You want to create Twitter spaces and have AMAs that people can actually engage with you and ask questions. Don't let people sit there in silence. Encourage people to come up and ask them generalized questions about why they're looking at your project and what is their favorite projects. Create this excitement, because at the end of the day, you're two people that are just very excited about NFTs. A big piece that I'll say with community engagement is don't get discouraged. Community engagement does take a long time to build up an audience. It's not something that will happen overnight, and it's not something that you can generally pay to happen as well. You might be able to pay for some great ads on some websites. You might be able to pay for a retweet from a promoter. But the problem is, if they're just being paid, they're only appealing to their audience. It's not people that have chosen to come to your project. So be careful when you're paying for promotions, and make sure there is someone that's a very similar project or a similar mindset to you, so they're targeting the right audience. So now you're starting to develop a bit of a community. People are starting to notice you. Now's the time when you want to create a bit more excitement again. You look at things like doing giveaways, and maybe it might be something as simple as a retweet competition on Twitter for a whitelist access or pre-sale access, or it might be that limited edition merch that we mentioned earlier. It might be that they get access to that. You can do competitions or things like meme competitions, treasure hunts to find certain things on your website or on Discord. It might be, and this isn't one of my favorites because it does something that might be a little bit spammy and it might create a bit of spam, is like Discord and invite trackers. I think one of the best things you can do to create excitement is reward the people that are actually engaging in your Discord. Reward the people that are doing the work for you, because they're the people that you want to keep around. They're the people you want to celebrate. Now, a big part of your prepare phase is of course going to be marketing. And marketing can be quite challenging because a lot of marketing agencies you'll reach out to, and this is very transparent, they'll come back with a quote that's anywhere from $20,000 all the way up to $60,000 to make sure your project sees the most amount of eyes. But there are some things that you can do that is free. And we're going to talk about those right now because they are the most important, the things that you can do in life for free. The first thing that you can do for free promotion or free eyes on your project is update all the NFT launch calendars. Now there's probably 10 to 15 different launch calendars that will get quite a few eyes on them. So make sure you update all your details there. And typically the details we're talking about is your project, the description, how many, what the price is. The other free place that you might want to consider is Reddit or even Medium. On Reddit, you can engage with posts and comment on certain things. Post in as many Reddit subreddits as you can to get some engagement and create some excitement. And it might be simple things like asking a question. Hey, what do you think of my NFT projects? Hey, I've got this coming up on this date. Can you check it out and let me know what you think? Create a question or create an environment that engages people to come in and talk to you. As I said, Medium is also another great place to create free articles that people can see and engage with yours. And another thing that people don't do is actually comment on other people's Medium posts or highlight certain sections so you actually get a bit of engagement in that way as well. And my last free area that I'm going to suggest, and that's giving value to the buyers outside of the NFT itself. And when I say that, I mean creating something like a podcast or creating a YouTube video about why you're doing your project or giving them some sort of value back. And it might be that you're an amazing artist. Why don't you do a live drawing session? Why don't you say once a week, I'm going to do a live drawing session and I'm going to show you how to draw the best cat NFTs ever. That's going to be engaging and it's not taking away from your work. It's showing everyone how skilled you are and creating a common interest. So as I was saying, there's multiple different avenues that you can have free marketing or free ways to talk to your community, and that's just a few. Okay, so we've done a lot of work to build a community, get some engagement, get a lot of people tuning in with our project. And as I said earlier, this can take a long time, so please don't be discouraged if when you're getting ready to launch a project, you don't have a whole bunch of followers. We're almost at the end of your prepare phase, and we're going to go over a couple of questions to make sure you are ready to launch. And that's a little bit of a checklist. Do you have your artwork complete? Tick. You should have your deployment method chosen. Are you going to be selling from your website, selling from OpenSea? You've decided how you're going to sell and what pricing model you're going to take as well. Your developers should be ready and prepared to support any issues. Unfortunately, we do see issues happen whenever there's launches and things do change, but if you have a developer that works closely with you, you should be able to overcome these quickly. And one thing that you do need to support your community is make sure you have a developer that's free to answer questions in Discord, to address any concerns or questions about the minting process as well. Your Discord moderators should be well and truly ready to go. You should have selected some certain people from the community potentially to help out with some moderation of the Discord. As you go into those final few days and a bit of hype and anticipation ramps up, that's when you want to make sure you have the most active time in your Discord. You should have your scheduled promoters and influencers ready to go. And something that we think about is that in your last few days before you launch, that's when you should really be ramping up that anticipation and ramping up some promotions with some influencers as well. Because you want to create this real buzz right before you launch, because people don't like to wait long to purchase a product or purchase an NFT. So we're in the final days and you're almost ready to launch your NFT. And as I mentioned before, this is when you kind of build a bit of anticipation. You get people coming into community and you want to create this excitement. So you might want to consider asking questions about the project that creates conversation with people that are in the Discord. Things like, what is your favorite design? What are some features in the product you'd like to see in the future? How many people have you told about the project? What influencers should we tweet at? Who's going to sweep the floor after launch? The questions that will get people talking and get people engaged with you, and especially if you're the creator of the project, there's real power in actually being present and not just having your admins talk to your community, but making sure the actual leader and the person that's creating the item is in that Discord as well. Our fourth and final phase is the launch phase. And there's a couple of main topics that we're going to talk about, and we're going to start with reveal. Now, there's a couple of different ways that projects will reveal their NFT. It might be that when you mint, you don't know what that NFT is till a few days later when the project is actually revealed and the team reveal what NFT you've got. Now that can actually work in two different ways. Sometimes it creates excitement, it creates buzz and energy, but the problem with waiting to reveal your NFT is that a lot of the time people don't get what they hope to get, and people might actually sell that and then bring down the price of your project. So it is totally up to you at the end of the day, but I often encourage people to look at when you mint your NFT, actually reveal it at the same time. And that's especially great if you do have a large community that a lot of people are going to be minting at the same time. Now, a huge benefit of this, and it's actually a sales tactic as well, is that if you reveal when you're minting, people actually see what they get straight away. So if they're not happy, chances are they're going to go back and try and mint another one rather than waiting to find out what it is. So this is something that I consider going and actually revealing upon mint, because people can choose to mint another one, and a lot of time people will mint more than what they thought they would. Okay, the fourth phase, we also talk about rarity tables. The first question, one of the first questions you're going to get as soon as someone sees their NFT is, how rare is this NFT? So I encourage you to make sure you have a pre-prepared rarity table if you do know what rarities are or what is the rarer traits. Make sure you have that prepared to share with the community straight away. If anything, I encourage you to have it uploaded to your website as soon as possible. Now, this is again is another method for people to look at what they've got and compare it and go, should I mint another one in the chance of getting something rarer? So if you don't have that upon reveal, then there's a chance that you're missing out on someone going, should I mint another one? If you've ever been a part of an NFT launch and when the minting process is going on and also the reveal process as well, you'll notice that sales will tend to go up and down, and depends on how engaged the community is. And that's a key part to this. We talked about engagement leading up to your launching, but we also want engagement to continue and actually drive almost harder once you've revealed your NFTs. You want to make sure, and we've talked about this a couple of different times, that your Discord has a lot of moderation. There's people there ready to answer questions and remove any FUD or fear, uncertainty, and doubts that might be produced by people that maybe didn't get one of your NFTs and they're a little bit sad now. This is when I would also consider looking at doing some giveaways, doing some retweet competitions, and more things that we talked about earlier when we're talking about that engagement, because what you want to do is bring new people into the community at the same time by potentially doing giveaways, and that creates some excitement and still gets people talking and engaging with your project even after it's been minted. Depending on the platform and how well your sales went, you really need to consider making your project a blue tick project. And what I mean by that is making sure it's verified across any trading platform that you can. I know an example, OpenSea has the prerequisites of having at least 50,000 followers on Twitter or Instagram, or at least 100 ETH in trading volume, and now that might have changed since I've last looked as well. Congratulations, you've just finished your first NFT release. Now at this point in time, I hope you take a couple of minutes to reflect on how you went, because chances are, and a lot of people do this, they want to mint or create another project at some point in time, and it might be in addition to what you've already released. So I really encourage you sit down with your team and have short meetings that talk about what were the successful points of your project. And as far as it goes, you don't want to limit yourself to talking about a certain topic or item. You want to discuss everything from how is your pricing model to how is your community engagement, talking about things as simple as how did that tweet go? What was the most engaging tweet that we did from start to end of our project? So that is all for me today. I thank you for listening. I hope you've taken a couple of little pieces of information away and you'll be able to use those towards releasing your own NFT project. As I said, my name is Daniel, aka Frankincense in the Matrix World Discord. I appreciate your time and thank you for listening in.
Thank you for the great talk, Daniel. We actually have one question here for you is, what exactly does the value of NFTs come from, and what makes people agree with that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it depends. So there's a couple of different values that I look at, whether it be an investment opportunity. So I think people look at them and go, hey, what's in their utility? What's in their roadmap? That's actually going to bring value to the project later on. So people look at that and go, hey, there's going to be something, and I'll give you an example, like a play to earn game. So they go, okay, this should increase in value, and they compare it to what else is in the market at that point in time. The other one is, so you've got your investments, that's what we're just talking about then. But the other type of people that we look at is appreciative, or it might be someone's an artist or someone that has popular, like is already popular and has that appreciation already. So the value is kind of determined in two different ways. One, it's looked off the utility, which we just talked about before, or two, it's based off what is already out there by artists and its appreciative value. So it's really hard to determine what the price of an NFT should be. I suppose a lot of people compare it to what's already out there or similar there. But the thing that I would look at is just, is it an investment that has utility, or is it something that's appreciative because there's a great artist that already has this background that everyone respects? So to answer the question, what determines the value, it's really hard to put a set price on anything or what it should be. But yeah, mainly it's investment versus appreciative value.
All right. Thank you for your answer, Daniel. Again, thank you for your time. And our third speaker is Just Do EK, and he is the lead dev of Cyber Girls. And welcome, EK. You may start whenever you're ready.
I am Just Do EK, lead developer of Project CyberGirls NFT. Let me introduce myself first. I am currently working on Ethereum smart contract development task as software lab researcher. I was a former Microsoft student partner and also won an honorable mention prize from Global DeFi Online Hackathon. The partners for the hackathon are as follows: VegaX, Constellation, GBV Capital, Ember, QCP Capital. Now I am working as a lead developer in an awesome project named CyberGirls NFT. Let me share you the P2 game trailer of our project. Hope you enjoy. Now, let me introduce our project. CyberGirls is a giant NFT content and P2 game platform for cyberpunk and sci-fi enthusiasts. The project is committed to creating a sci-fi metaverse playground that provides various forms of CyberGirls content from digital art collections, comics, films, and P2 games. We announced Yudo, P2 game multi-metaverse a few days ago. It is a world to which game players arrive on their lifetime journey to find the world that game players can earn revenues by using their gaming skills. Yudo users can access to various countries, games on Yudo platform with one NFT. There are the number of roles that users can play. They can be gamers who use their own NFTs to participate in gameplay and earn revenues. They can be investors who lend their NFTs to other Yudo gamers so that they get a share of profits earned by the gamers. Besides gamers and investors, there will be several categories that users can participate in the Yudo platform economy. You can read more about our Yudo ecosystem in our Medium. Our goal from now on is, since we finished our mint a few days ago, we will be having a review event soon. we are planning to release our new comics series, which many of our users have been waiting for. We are also planning to launch our PT game in Q2 or Q3 at the latest, where to be generated Sarvagas tokens will play its role. The offline events like an NFT exhibition will also be planned in Q2. Besides previously mentioned milestones, we will continue to present exciting progress in order to perform our commitment to creating a metaverse playground for freaks. With the strong support from our positive vibe-giving community, we look forward to building a game platform when the games are not only profitable, but also fun and enjoyable. Our project is now fully minted from 4,999 BMs, or vending machines. 9,999 gals will be revealed. The gals BMs that have been minted will each have 2 gals, last one having 3. We came up with the world's first dual mint, dual reveal system on both Ethereum and IMTOX network. The gals being revealed on each chains will be the same collections, although they are revealed on different networks. The masters of the gals will be able to customize their gals on IMX or IMTOX by on-chain crafting. We announced the implementation on ERC-721XX for the crafting solution, which enables near-zero gas fee crafting. We will talk about it with more details later. There will be Cybergas tokens on our Yudo platform with fair and sustainable platform economy. We are planning on launch our tokens on Binance Smart Chain. The tokenomics will be out soon once we have all the specific details confirmed. Let's move on to some specifics such as our terms, chains, etc. We'd like to let you know that all content related with Cybergals are protected by digital collectible terms to protect your pride and dignity as Gals Masters. Cybergas team has specified the legal terms of Cybergas NFT in its smart contract. No one, including the team, can interfere or modulate. So, what's special about Cybergals? We are a multi-layer project. We will be minting our gals from Gals vending machine on IMTOX and on Ethereum. So, what is IMTOX? IMTOX, or IMX, is a layer 2 blockchain protocol for trading Ethereum NFTs that provide users with instant trade confirmation, massive scalability, and no gas fees while preserving user ownership. IMTOX aims to make minting and trading NFTs as simple as trading existing digital assets. This Layer 2 platform features complete integration with the Ethereum network. This technology allows users to have familiar experience as they have the Ethereum network on IMX. The users can use existing Ethereum wallets such as MetaMask, since IMTOX is built on top of Ethereum. IMX also can solve gas fee problems that are caused by Ethereum network backlog. The gas fee paid on IMX is close to zero, so that users won't need to pay the high transaction fees as they did on Ethereum if the users conduct transactions on IMTOX. Among the number of benefits that IMTOX can offer, Ethereum-friendly user experience and zero gas minting are the key reasons that Cybergas decided to use IMTOX. In the meantime, IMTOX announced that the platform aims to achieve carbon neutrality for NFT minting. Team Cybergas fully supports IMTOX's movement for supporting environmental sustainability, because the team also hopes for the better state of the future in AD 2136, the time period of Cybergals. Now, let's move on to Arweave. Most of your NFTs are stored in centralized storage, including cloud storage services provided by corporations. Developers code NFT images in the storage to display them on web apps. During this process, databases of these NFT images are under the control of all centralized systems. If a centralized cloud server is hacked or URI is changed as developers change codes linked to NFT, your NFTs will show nothing or completely disappear. Here are some examples. Case 1, file data tampering caused by hacked centralized cloud server. Centralized servers tend to be more vulnerable to hacking risks, as a single central unit coordinates all the other one or more client nodes in the system. It could be an old-time story, though you may have heard about the Dropbox hacking incident in 2012. When hackers attack centralized servers, files on the servers can be changed or removed. If the files are stored in a decentralized cloud system, the file data is distributed and synchronized in multiple independent servers at different locations, which enable the system to reduce hacking risks. Case 2. URI change led by code modification. NFT-associated codes can be changed and amended anytime when developers change or update URI codes. To raise awareness about this issue, Raccoon Secret Society turned all their Raccoon NFT collections into piles of bones. To mitigate these kinds of vulnerability risks related to centralized cloud system, Cybergals deployed the distributed IPFS Arweave. All files and metadata of Cybergas NFTs, including codes, NFT properties, and images, are uploaded on Arweave permanent data storage. Thereby, Gals NFTs will never be at risk of disappearing, and the holders will never face 404 error messages. Cybergals Metaverse Playground with Gals NFTs will be full of fun and exciting content and games. What's more, since the team adopts the IPFS to store some of Gals NFT files and metadata on the decentralized permanent storage, our Metaverse Playground will be more stable and credible, and Gals NFTs will immutably exist. The virtues of blockchain technology include enhanced transparency, credibility, and immutability, as the technology features also allow network data to be traceable and verifiable. Among several virtues of blockchain technology, Cybergas team puts fairness through transparency as a priority value throughout the entire business conduct. One example of this would be Metaverse. Metaverse was caught in turmoil about the insider trading allegation ahead of the launch. Learning an insight from this incident, the team decided to integrate Chainlink VRF with the Cybergas NFT minting protocol under the object's objectives to process probably random NFT distributions. ChainIDE VR app is a cryptographic function that generates publicly verifiable and unpredictable random values. This function is quite efficient when producing an unpredictable and tamper-proof result is highly required on smart contracts. CyberGuard's dev team wrote a code that all distributed random values for minting to be generated via ChainIDE VR app, which means the team cannot manipulate and foresee which Gauss NFTs are to be minted before NFT distribution is completed. This will ensure us to fulfill a high level of transparency in the market while gas masters experience truly fair user experience. Aside from these technical aspects, CyberGuard's team will continue to foster trust with our communities and partners at every step of our way. Finally, the ERC721XX. ERC721XX is an implementation of ERC721 with immutable X L1 and L2, or Layer 1 or Layer 2 bridging. With this standard, L1 assets minted from Ethereum are recognized by immutable access APIs and can be moved to L2. Until now, only assets minted from immutable X or L2 were able to move through the L1-L2 bridge. The advantage of Layer 2 proposed by immutable X is that assets can be transferred immediately with little or no gas. As the industry grows, high-level actions such as crafting, synthesis, and combinations will take place here without worrying about fees. Even so, Ethereum is yet more familiar to the existing crypto public and cannot be ignored since it owns large applications and integrations. OpenSea is one of them. To support both layers, we had to respectively create two minting contracts for each layer, and then take measures such as burning assets in Ethereum and minting new immutable assets in the backend. However, this is a huge waste of distribution costs and user fees. Also, this ends up having to manage three collections, not one. One is Ethereum minted and immutable minted, and last, L2 migrated. And ERC721XX fixes this. You've all heard about ERC721A, an improved implementation of the IERC721 standard that supports minting multiple tokens for close to the cost of one. After going through Azuki's ERC721A by Chiru Labs, we also introduced ERC721AX, which features ERC721A on ERC721XX to add value to this amazing technology solution. ERC721AX is another specification that adds the features of ERC721A on ERC721XX. So, that's the ERC721XX. What do you think? We welcome new allies to apply ERC721XX for their Ethereum with L2-based project. If you're interested, you can check the details from ERC721XX website and GitHub. Please take a look. And let me introduce another builder of this ERC721XX proposal, Alti, the Creator NFT platform. Alti is a Creator NFT project that has a plan to build a creator community. They are making a product where creators can increase influence and become influential as well in the Web 3.0, enabling renowned creators from the legacy market, especially from the Web 2.0, to become predominant in the Web 3.0 and produce economic value. Alti is special because what Alti is trying to do here is establishing a connection between the existing creator market and the new Web 3.0 market. Alti is also overcoming limitations in the fandom industry by building creators' value with fans being able to contribute to their creators' success. And guess what? Alti uses NFT crafting feature as well. With Alti and fellow ERC 3.3 ERC 721XX allies in the future, CyberGirls will continue to develop ERC 721XX proposal and expand its ecosystem. Here are the links to our social channels. If you want to get to know more about our project, visit our website or send a DM on Twitter or Discord, or feel free to send an email. Thank you for listening. This is the end of my presentation. To conclude, let me share you a concept video of how our crafting solution will look. Hope you have a wonderful day. Okay.
Okay, thank you, EK, and thanks for bringing us the Cyber Girls. Pretty cool. And our last speaker is Miss Tang Han, and unfortunately, she can't make it today due to the delay of the business trip. And we'll see if possible to invite her as a special guest in a later session. And here, I guess, is the end of the day one. And if you still have questions, please feel free to join us in our Telegram group. Also, a quick reminder for tomorrow's schedule, and we'll have topics related to build dApps on Binance Smart Chain. So it's really interesting. And if you want to know more about how to build your own dApps on Binance Smart Chain, so make sure you don't miss it. And thank you again for everyone today. And the lectures are really amazing. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful night. Bye bye.